Hey everybody, it's Andrew Party here. I'm a mental skills coach for athletes all over North America. And what I always say, skills are physical, but performance is mental. And in my experience, coaches across all sports, youth sports, they do a great job teaching the physical side of things, but are not really equipped to teach the mental side. So there's a little bit of a gap there in youth sports, I think in general, that throws athletes off balance, and it's really at the heart of a lot of the inconsistency and underperformance issues that I see in youth sports. So my job is to use something called psychometrics, which we'll get into in a little bit, to identify the specific things that are going on with an individual athlete that's causing underperformance. And really, what I want is for an athlete to be empowered to find their best performance consistently. So today, I'd like to welcome Phil and Grayson Colwick in. So they're in Kansas City, Missouri, and I wanted to have you guys on this discussion today because of the really the kind of remarkable success that you guys have enjoyed over the last couple of years. A little bit of a kind of a rocket ride up up the charts in the world of hockey there. So I wanted to dig into that and just kind of get your I want people to benefit from your experience over the last couple of years, and how Grayson was able to go from basically a house league player, I guess, a couple seasons ago to now signing to play at the AAA level in Des Moines, right? So welcome, guys. Congratulations, and yeah, let's have a quick chat.
Yeah, thank you. Hello.
So I know it's been an exciting couple of years. So, maybe what we'll do here is just take viewers on a guided tour of what you guys have been up to and how you've, managed to achieve this, at least in my mind, pretty remarkable success in a pretty short period of time. So Phil, you and I connected in October of 2001. So what was going on back in October 2001? I know it seems like a long time ago, but why did you think it would be a good idea to reach out and have a conversation?
Well, I was just looking for something to help set Grayson apart from his peers and other players and teammates at the level he was currently playing. And, Grayson has always been very passionate and wanted to play at the highest level possible. So he worked really hard at the house level, played for 3 years at the house level, and his goal was to make the local travel team at the AA level. So he went and tried out, and he did make the team. He kind of looked like he was, excuse me, he was kind of on the bubble somewhere in the middle of the pack on the travel team, and I think a lot of it was him having to deal with nerves and some of the pressures, the unknowns. He's a kid that's always been on a very strict routine, done things this way very concretely, and it was difficult for him to adapt to certain situations and relax if there were other variables involved. That's just his personality. So as the season kind of started out, he had very good skills, did awesome in practice, really, got a lot of good comments from the coaches. But as we started playing in the tournaments, I noticed that the speed of the game, he was having trouble keeping up with the speed of the game, and he was following the plays. He just didn't look like himself. And I was trying to figure out what that was because I had no idea. We're all learning as we go together. And me being a total nerd researcher type person, I just started reading on the internet, looking for ways to close that gap to bring them up to speed with guys who have been playing travel AA hockey for years since they were AUs. I knew that once we could figure that side of things out, that he would start seeing more success. I just happened to, excuse the expression, I randomly came across an advertisement for your system for mental skills coaching, and the first thing I read on that is is your child a practice player? And the definition you put as a practice player was they look like Wayne Gretzky in practice, but when they get out on the ice in a game, they really struggle, and that's exactly what we were dealing with. So I just started reading more information on your website. I got very interested in the mental side of things, and I knew that was going to be perfect for him. Definitely something worth trying. And once I got my wife convinced that it was definitely worth the investment, we went ahead and went for it, and things just kind of really skyrocketed from there.
Right, right. Awesome. Yeah. So Grayson, what would you say? What did it look like from your perspective in those, your dad described kind of all the physical skills were there and practice, and you knew you had you had the skill level to play, but just sort of struggled to perform in games. What did that feel like from your perspective?
Yeah, it definitely didn't feel good. Like my dad said, I thought I was doing really well in practice, but obviously practicing and playing games is a entirely different thing. And yeah, it didn't feel good to have a great practice and then not play too well in the tournament.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't think that's anyone's idea of a good time, right? Just not, very frustrating to know that you're putting in the work and all the physical parts there, but then to be totally baffled by yeah the fact that it doesn't translate into a competitive situation, right? It doesn't happen. It doesn't just happen. I think that's the part that a lot of people maybe don't understand. There's another piece of the puzzle there that you need to help translate that.
Yeah,
So one of the things that I do, I mean, it's a bit of a mystery for most families who'll come to me. They're trying to figure this exact thing out, and it's a bit of a mystery because it's made up of things that are intangible. You can't really, it's hard to put your finger on. So the way I go about that in my practice is to use psychometrics, so tools that really measure a player's mental game. So it's 144 multiple choice questions. Grayson probably takes about 20 minutes to complete. And I was looking at your mental game profile, your blueprint, just before we got back on, we got on this call, just to remind myself. And for you, what you were dealing with was perfectionism, right? Do you remember that original discussion we had?
yeah, I needed everything to be perfect to play.
You wanted everything to go a certain way, and as a developing athlete, that's not the way it rolls out, right? It's mistakes all over the place.
Yeah,
So I think in your dynamic, and you're unique, and every athlete I work with is unique. But for you, it was that perfectionism piece, and it sort of you set a trap for yourself there because you'd get under pressure, you'd have these high expectations, you'd want things to go perfectly, and then inevitably the first mistake of the game creeps in, and then you kind of got lost in your head, right? You got stuck in your head about it, thinking about it, criticizing yourself, worrying about the next mistake, and then that would spiral. You would spiral into a place where, I call it reduced flexibility, but it's just a place where you get emotionally overwhelmed and can't perform. And I think that's where you were when we first started chatting. Does any of that ring a bell? Maybe you've tried to forget about all that. I'm not sure.
yeah,
He's a different kid now, but yeah, that was definitely what was going on.
That was what that was what was up, right? Actually, pretty common, and can be very difficult to sort through that. It's very hard to put your finger on what's going on there. But so the psychometrics piece really helps me figure out what's going on with an athlete, and then once you know what it is, sort of figuring it out is kind of like the easy part. But so Grayson, it was pretty painful for you at the time. What was at stake for you? Like, you were just kind of unable to get to those goals that you'd set, I guess, right?
yeah, exactly. Just like you said, underperforming.
Just underperformance, and how frustrating was it for you?
It was really frustrating because I would work out, I would shoot pucks, eat healthy, do everything, and still wasn't playing great.
Yeah, it wasn't clicking, right?
Yeah.
And I think everybody has the idea in their mind that if you do all the right things, then you get in a game situation and well, it'll all just click. And a lot of times that just doesn't happen, right? There's another piece of the puzzle that I think a lot of very capable, physically capable athletes don't figure out, and because they don't figure out, they're unable to compete at a high level. They can't find their A game. In practice, it's there, but then game time rolls around, um, not there, can't find it.
Yeah.
Phil, what were you hoping to accomplish? What were your expectations as you guys, eventually you did your research and decided to, I know you had a sales job to do with Jenny, but got her on board and you guys came into my Mental Game Academy program, so a 6-week online program. Did you have any expectations going into that? What were you thinking you might, you guys might get out of that?
Yeah, so honestly, I have a medical background, so I knew that with the TASE assessment, he'd definitely be looking at some things and things to identify that he could work on as a person that wouldn't only help him on the hockey rink, but would help him learn some life skills too, as when he's an adult, because we won't be playing hockey forever. And I want to throw out that my wife and I just felt terrible for Grayson because we've never pressured him to do this or that in sports. He's done everything on his own. We're just the fans, the bus drivers, and we write the checks, right? So no pressure from us to make a certain team or play at a different level. That's all on him. So my point is I wanted to find something. We just wanted to help him because he works so hard and does so much on his own, and is just a good kid and a good person. We wanted him to be able to at least perform at his best and make his goal of playing the highest level possible as long as he's able to. So this was definitely something. It was a bit of a risk. We had no idea what to expect, but just talking to you initially about what your program had to offer, I felt very positive. Obviously, it helped.
Yeah. So as you move through the program, and I don't know, maybe this is maybe it's a question for both of you or either of you, but what was your experience of going through the program? Like how specifically? Maybe this is one for Grayson and Phil. Maybe you can kind of rhyme in with what it looked like from your perspective. But Grayson, how did it help you?
Yeah, it helped me in every way. It helped me just understand what was going on with the TASE assessment. When we got on the call and went over it, it just helped me uh, find out what was happening. And then you taught some tools to help play at my best.
Tools, yeah. So it helped him figure out who his personality and who he was as a person, and how to use those tools that you taught him and help him. I don't like to use the word weaknesses because they're not really weaknesses. We are who we are, when we're born. But the areas we need to work on to be able to achieve his goals were definitely identified quickly, and you gave him the tools to do that, and that's what he did.
Yeah, opportunities is the word I like to use there because that's really what they are, right? It's gaps. So with the assessment tool, we're able to really, Grayson, we measured your mental game. We compared you to NHL players, and that exercise sort of lays bare those opportunities, right? The areas that really you're out of balance. It's not like there's anything wrong or anything like that. It's just who you are relative to the context you're trying to perform in. And perfectionism is a blessing and a curse in your, because athletes are perfectionists and athletes are hard on themselves. And for you, your perfectionism had just gotten out of balance, right? I think that you were wanting it so badly and it wasn't coming. And you're kind of getting yourself in trouble there, maybe setting up that trap for yourself, right? Where it was inevitable that a mistake was going to happen, and you, I guess, at the time didn't have the skills to work through the adversity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So he would just shut down, and that'd be all she wrote for that particular situation.
Yeah, yeah. So there was no ability, like resiliency is a word that comes to mind. there was no ability to make a mistake and look at that as an opportunity to get better. I think mistakes are how athletes get better. That's just a very important part of the journey, is the ability to make a mistake and not get stuck in your head about the mistake and have it destroy your performance, but to kind of be able to use that mistake post performance as a learning opportunity and a growth opportunity. And that's, just a big, for perfectionists at least, that's sort of where things start to go wrong, right? Because you're so busy beating yourself up over the mistake that, learning doesn't happen and performance doesn't happen. So it's kind of like a double whammy there.
Yeah.
So Grayson, where are you at now? So how are you feeling about your game? How do you think things have changed? And maybe tell us a little bit about this AAA opportunity in Des Moines.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling good with my performance. I think that if something goes wrong out there, like if I miss the net, if the defender hits me or something, I can just bounce right back and just have a short memory and not really worry about the mistake.
Right, right, right. And I know that, in my program, one of the things that I really talk about a lot, or I like to acquaint an athlete with, is the present moment. My philosophy is as an athlete who wants to perform, you need to be in the present moment, because the present moment is kind of like the doorway to the zone. It's the doorway to that flow state or that optimal state of performance. And so, what would you say about that, Grayson? I think you were introduced to the idea of the present moment, and I know you've taken it to another level, and you're off reading some books about the present moment now. But what would you say are is the value of learning about the present moment and the thoughts in your mind, and really learning a little bit about who you really are, as opposed to all those negative kind of self-critical thoughts that tend to bounce around in your mind.
Yeah, I've noticed uh, ever since the program, I've been in the present moment, on and off the ice, a lot more than I was before the program. And I think the present moment is important because I found that when I'm in the present moment, I pretty much never make mistakes. It's only when I'm in my head that I fumble the puck or miss a pass or something.
Right. Yeah. No,
I'll
awesome.
even, I'm sorry to interrupt you. That I'll even add that that's even carried over into school. He's always been a good student, but it seems like he doesn't sweat tests, studying for tests, and put all that pressure and shut down like maybe he did in the past. I mean, he's always been made a good GPA, but his GPA was the highest it's ever been, and I think that's because he's carried that over into his off ice life.
Yeah. I think the beauty of putting your kid in sports is the way you are in your sport or the way you are on the ice. Well, that's the way you are everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just when you play a sport, it just makes it very obvious what the package of strengths and weaknesses and opportunities are. I think that's sort of one of the beauties of playing a sport and working to play at a high level. So Phil, what advice would you have to any parent who um, has that goal of, and I think it's a great goal, by the way, of just wanting to equip your teenager with the tools that they need to be the best athlete they can be. Whether that's going to the NHL or a second line on your high school team, or whatever it is. The best you can get to is, I think that's a great goal. What advice would you have for a parent out there who maybe they're seeing some similar things in their son or daughter, and what want to put them in a position to succeed?
I think the main thing is just keep an open mind and if you're really on the fence about trying this program, I can't tell you enough. It's really helped our family, and I think it would help anybody who's willing to give it a shot. Um, Keep an open mind and look at uh, you know the situation as you're exercising a muscle, and it takes some kids may take more time and more work than others, and to be patient. And with the tools you learn, depending on what what the TASE assessment says. The tools you learn, um, take them seriously and practice them just like you're exercising a muscle, because it does take continuous work over time. You don't expect instant results. I think as a society, a lot of times people want instant results, and it definitely takes time. But Grayson, he's got it down. I mean, he doesn't slack on doing this stuff, and we don't even have to remind him to do anything. He wants to do it. Some kids are more motivated than others, but I think we're just encouraging your child to follow through on this stuff. You'll see results no matter what level you play at.
Excellent. Great. Grayson, final word to you. What would you want to share with anybody who's either in the Mental Game Academy program or thinking about joining it, or even just doing some research on mental skills training?
Yeah, just take it seriously. If you take it seriously and put in the work, you'll definitely see results. And if you're on the fence of getting it, I would definitely get the program. It's completely changed our lives, and yeah, just a great purchase.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, guys, thanks very much for your time. Appreciate your coming out to have the conversation. Uh, Phil, congratulations on being so curious and putting in the yards to figure out what it is you need to do to help. And I think you've done Grayson a great service there. And Grayson, congratulations to you, man. Like you deserve it. You put in the work. You continue to put in the work, and you just made some massive leaps forward over the last couple of years. That to me is extraordinary. So nicely done.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for what you do. This is a great thing, great opportunity for people. So thank you.
Awesome, guys. Well, let's wrap it up there. And Grayson, we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Bye bye.
Good night.